Welcome back to the deep dive. Looks like we're diving into GMRS radio today. Really excited to dig into this with you and see what we can uncover.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. There's certainly a lot of interest in GMRS lately.
Okay, so first off, what exactly is GMRS?
So GMRS stands for General Mobile Radio Service, and it's a licensed radio service. It uses specific frequencies for short-distance two-way voice communication.
Okay, so like walkie-talkies, but more powerful, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly like walkie-talkies on steroids.
Okay, cool. So who's using GMRS these days?
Well, it's really versatile. We see everyone using it, from families that want to stay in touch during like vacations and stuff to off-roading enthusiasts. Even businesses use them too, especially ones that operate in areas with spotty cell service.
Like if you're out camping or hiking and your cell phone doesn't work, GMRS could be a good backup option.
Exactly. Cell phones rely on cell towers, and those aren't always available, especially in remote areas. But GMRS gives you that independence from cell networks, which can be really valuable for safety and just peace of mind.
That makes a lot of sense. You mentioned that it's licensed, so I'm picturing complicated paperwork and maybe a test or something.
Oh, no, it's not that bad. In the U.S., you need a license from the FCC to operate GMRS radios. But it's a pretty straightforward process these days. You can do it all online, no exams or anything, just an application and a fee.
And how much is the fee?
It's $35 for a 10-year license, and that covers you and your immediate family.
Okay, so $35 for a decade of reliable communication for the whole family. Not bad at all. You mentioned off-roading enthusiasts earlier. I'm guessing they like GMRS for its range.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine you're on a trail ride and your group gets separated. With GMRS, you can communicate over much greater distances than you could with like those typical FRS walkie-talkies that you see.
Oh yeah, speaking of FRS, I always see those mentioned alongside GMRS. What's the difference between the two?
So that's where it gets interesting. They actually share some of the same frequencies, but there are some key differences that make GMRS the more powerful option, like power output, for example. FRS radios are capped at 2 watts, but GMRS radios can go up to 50 watts. That means you get a much greater range, especially when you factor in the use of repeaters.
Repeaters, I've heard that term before. Not totally sure what they are, though.
So basically, a repeater is like a booster station for your radio signal. It receives your transmission and then rebroadcasts it with more power. This dramatically extends your range so you can communicate over hills and around obstacles and cover much larger areas. And you can even do this with a handheld radio, which is something you can't do with FRS.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, so greater power, longer range, and repeaters. That's a lot to like about GMRS. But what about privacy? If these radios are sharing frequencies, can anyone just listen in on my conversations?
That's a good question, and one we'll definitely dive into more later. But for now, just know that both GMRS and FRS radios use what are called privacy codes. They're like subchannels within the main frequency.
So like a secret code with your friends, so only you can understand?
Kinda. They help to reduce interference and make it easier to hear the people you actually want to talk to. We'll get into more detail on those codes later, and even talk about some of the more advanced techniques people use, like inverted DCS codes, which honestly sounds like something out of a spy movie.
Inverted DCS codes. All right. I'm intrigued. We're going to have to get to the bottom of that one. But anything else we should know about the basics of GMRS before we move on?
I think we've hit the key points for now. We talked about what it is, why it's becoming so popular, how to get a license, and how it compares to FRS. So are you ready to explore some of the benefits and uses of GMRS, especially for families?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. Okay, so we're talking benefits and uses for families. I imagine safety is a big one.
Yeah, for sure, especially when we talk about family outings and adventures.
Right, like if you're in a national park where cell service might be spotty, would GMRS be a good option in that kind of situation?
It'd be perfect for that. Think about it, you're hiking with your kids. Someone twists an ankle miles from the trailhead. With GMRS, you can easily call for help even if your cell phone is totally dead.
That peace of mind would be worth it alone. One less thing to worry about.
Exactly. And it's not just wilderness adventures either. It can be helpful in everyday situations too. Like imagine you're at a crowded amusement park and you get separated from your kids. A GMRS radio can help you find each other so much faster. No more frantically searching or relying on park staff.
Yeah, that would be a lifesaver.
For sure. But beyond safety, GMRS can actually add to the fun of family outings too.
Oh yeah, how so?
It's like having your own private communication channel. You can share jokes, stories, discoveries. Kids love it. Makes them feel like they have their own special walkie-talkies.
Like a secret family language?
Right. And it can make those long car rides a lot more entertaining too.
Haha, definitely beats Are We There Yet for the 100th time.
And speaking of entertainment, GMRS can also be great for coordinating activities. Like, let's say you're doing a scavenger hunt in the park. You can use the radios to give clues, track each other's progress, make it more exciting.
That's a great idea.
And it's not just fun and games either. It can also help build teamwork and problem-solving skills.
Oh, how so?
Well, imagine you're setting up a campsite as a family. You can use the radios to delegate tasks, share tips, work together more efficiently.
Like a little communication command center right in your pockets.
Exactly. It really encourages communication and collaboration.
Awesome. So we've got safety, fun, teamwork. Are there any downsides to using GMRS?
That's a good question. While it offers a lot of advantages, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. First, those privacy codes we talked about earlier, they aren't foolproof.
Oh, right.
They can reduce interference, but they don't guarantee complete privacy.
So maybe avoid discussing top secret family matters over GMRS.
Right. It's kind of like talking in a crowded room. You might be whispering, but someone nearby could still overhear you if they're really trying to listen. The other thing to remember is that GMRS radios rely on batteries, just like most electronics. So if you're going on a multi-day backpacking trip or something like that, make sure you have spare batteries or a way to recharge them.
That's a good point. Anything else people should be aware of?
Well, GMRS radios can be a bit more expensive than those basic FRS walkie-talkies you see at the toy store, but you get what you pay for. The added range power and features are worth the investment, especially for families who plan to use them a lot.
Makes sense. Okay, so we talked about benefits, potential downsides, all that good stuff. Now I'm ready for the nitty-gritty. How do we actually get started with GMRS?
Perfect timing. That's a great segue to our final segment. We'll walk you through getting a license, choosing the right equipment, and even offer some tips for using your radios effectively. Ready to unlock the power of GMRS?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Okay, so we're ready to unlock the power of GMRS. Let's talk about how to actually get started. First things first, we need to get that GMRS license.
Yep, that's step one. But like I said before, it's really easy these days. You can do it all online through the FCC's website.
Oh, nice. So no trips to the DMV or anything?
Nope. Just go to the FCC website, create an account if you don't already have one, and then find the GMRS license application. It's pretty straightforward, just basic personal information and your social security number.
And then there's the fee, right?
Yeah, it's $35 for a 10-year license, and that covers you and your immediate family.
Okay, so $35 for a decade of communication sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So once we have our license, we need to get some radios.
Exactly. And there are a lot of options out there.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. There's handheld mobile units, even repeater systems.
Right. For most families starting out, I'd say a set of handheld radios is a good place to start. They're portable, easy to use, and they'll give you plenty of range for most activities.
Okay, that makes sense. Are there any specific features we should look for in a handheld radio?
Definitely. I'd say multiple channels and privacy codes are essential. That way you can create your own private family channel and avoid interference from other users. Weather alerts are also great to have, especially for outdoor adventures. And of course, battery life is always important.
Yeah, you don't want your radio dying in the middle of a hike.
Exactly.
So let's say we have our license, we've picked out our radios. What are your top tips for using GMRS effectively and responsibly?
Well, first and foremost, remember that GMRS is a shared resource. It's kind of like driving a car. You need to be courteous and respectful of other users. Keep your transmissions short and to the point. Avoid using profanity and be mindful of the volume.
Basically good radio etiquette.
Exactly. Also be aware of your surroundings and any regulations that might apply. Like some national parks have restrictions on radio use, so always check the rules before you transmit.
Okay, good to know.
And finally, I always recommend taking some time to really familiarize yourself with your radios. Practice using them in different situations. The more comfortable you are with the equipment, the more you'll be able to enjoy all the benefits of GMRS.
Makes sense. Well, I think this has been a great deep dive into the world of GMRS. I know I've learned a lot, and I hope our listeners are feeling more informed too.
Me too. It's been fun chatting with you about this.
Likewise. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, just one. Have fun with it. GMRS is a great way to stay connected, enhance your adventures, and create some lasting memories with your family.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us today and learning all about GMRS radio. We hope you enjoyed the deep dive